Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. Don't forget to go to allapologiespodcast.com to find all the links to Patreon, Instagram, TikTok, what else, Andy? Twitter, X, where we're not like Andy's bad mouthing people on X.
Yeah,
And all the links to all of the social media are over there.
yeah. I'm getting a little more, I'm mixing it up a little more over on X these days, but the point is to support the show financially on Patreon if you have the means. But also, we are putting up free content over on there. I was getting yelled at by Patrick Michael, Joe, that I was not, I was only a free tier member. And he's like, what are you, cheap fuck that doesn't have $2? And I said, I don't know. I give people free content over on my channel. I was hoping maybe you would give me a reason to give you $2. And he said, get off my channel. And I said, oh, so I could either give you $2 for substandard content or not give a fucking crybaby dildo $2 and watch his Patreon numbers go down. Okay. I guess I can make
I
that.
was hearing that. Was that like literally directed at you or just to the general pores on his channel?
It was just to the general port, the people that aren't paying.
Right. You're lurker.
Anything.
You lurker.
I was lumped. Yeah, I was lurking on Patrick. I was waiting for him to do something. I was like, "Do you have a show to fucking pay for? There's nothing here,
Okay.
fucking loser."
Yeah. So, some things never change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we have good content that you can pay for, and we have free content that you can get for free if you're so inclined. Patrick Michael, you can go check it out. He's like, "Oh yeah, your content sucks anyway." I was like, "You don't even know what my fucking show is. How do you know if it's good or bad? The free content that's there. You've never seen it."
So he was addressing you directly. This is what I was saying. Was he
Oh,
making a general statement or speaking
ev-
directly to you?
well, I was commenting to him. I was just like, I don't need to get fucking yelled at about 8 quarters on your Patreon. And then he started emailing me directly.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And then I just I unsubscribed and I don't get messages from him anymore. I was like,
You were
if you want
subscribed.
me to
You were
leave, I'll
like
leave.
he was emailing the All Apologies podcast or
No, he was like
oh,
because I signed up with my own email.
okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't want to hear from him. So I
Yeah.
just unsubscribed.
Oh, I've made a grave error here.
Oh, you're gonna yell at me for not giving you $2 now? He's like, when I used to work in the city, I would buy homeless people actual food and give it to them, and then they would be mad that I didn't give them the money. And that's the way I feel about Patrick Michael. It's just
Mm,
you're an ungrateful homeless man. You're a derelict.
yeah.
Okay,
Here's some
but
new gauges for your ear.
yeah, yeah. I'm doing him a favor by not allowing him to buy more of those. So this week, Joe, we've already covered Tana Mojo. So people might know who that is. Who you
Mhm.
might not remember is her canceled co-host, Brooke Schofield. You should though, because Brooke was kind of the hotter of the two.
Mhm.
So people were taking note of Brooke back then because of that. And now somebody that we all know recommended that I cover her breakup with some SoundCloud dildo named uh what the fuck is his name? Carter Kane? No, not Carter. Clinton Kane. So what I'm going to be talking about is their TikTok back and forth drama between Brooke and Clinton Kane. But the reason I said we ran to do this one is because Brooke is back in the news getting kicked off of canceled by Tana because some old tweets resurfaced, right, Joe?
Yeah, we have the do you wanna show the tweets that are part of the controversy,
Well,
or
let's
should we
get
wait
it
save that for later?
the back nine.
Sure.
For for starters, let's because this is older. What you covered is newer. So
Mhm.
the breakup, um, this goes back 2 years ago, but sorry, Clinton Kane was just did this TikTok that set her off, where he was just like, "Oh, when you've been broken up for 2 years, but you won't shut the fuck up about it," or something along those lines. And she then went on this 30-minute or 30-minute plus explanation of all the reasons that he's a dildo, and he is a dildo, but then he was firing back with all the reasons why she is a drama queen and a liar.
She's
And we're gonna
mid,
get
bro.
yes, she's very much mid. Can you
Mm,
turn that soundboard up a little bit?
hang on.
She's mid, bro.
Yes, she is mid. Okay, so to kick this off, I just wanted this is kind of my clip one sums up the whole vibe of this narrative that I'm going to explain.
Part 11, you guys. I now know that my boyfriend, who I've been with for several months, who I spent every single waking second with, has
God.
literally completely fabricated every single detail about himself. I know nothing about him. And as like lighthearted and like funny as I can make the story now, like I cannot explain to you like what I felt in that moment. It was genuinely the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life, because it was like I've never been obviously lied to in that way, but like I spend so much time with this person. He's my best friend. I'm in love with him. I am dating him. Like he's the closest person in the world to me.
So she's going to end up finding out that this guy was maybe not being completely upfront with her, and we'll get to more of the reasons why. But I thought I would show you who this fucking guy is, because you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is she doing with this dildo?"
Yeah,
Uh,
how about no robe next time?
yeah, I know you're a little overdressed, Brooke. Uh, but she. I left out all this stuff about how they met. Like, who fucking cares? But it mainly comes down to
She dropped, her bagel and they both bent down to pick it up. Well, who gives a fuck?
the real meet cute. Nah, he slid into her DMs and wouldn't leave her alone.
Oh,
Wouldn't
well,
leave her alone until she showed up to his show, and she's like, "Oh, I know that song. I'm a fan of this song, Chicken Tendies, which is a terrible name for a
is
song."
that a fucking
And
Tony Michaels song?
yeah, yeah, chicken nuggies, no sauce on Clinton Kane's Chicken Tendies. The song fucking blows. Let's hear that, Ed.
I hope he treats you better than I ever could. Cause you deserve the world times two. And
All
I'm
right, this is
so
enough.
sorry.
Jesus Christ.
She was with that for 3 months.
He looks like, never mind. Uh,
Like yeah, he looks like well, whatever. He looks like our future vice president's son. Um, okay, so in clip 3, Brooke is going to get some warning signs that Clinton maybe isn't the most loyal boyfriend.
And the interview comes out. I was staying with him at an Airbnb at the time, and I posted a TikTok with him in it. Okay. And in my comments, I started getting girls going, oh, like, not him. And I immediately was like, wait, what? And I have a girl tell me, like, oh, by the way, he cheated on his ex girlfriend with literally 15 girls.
at once?
Yeah. So the
Wait,
genesis
wait, I'm a new fan.
yeah. Well, really, you're a guy that looks like that. Obviously, you're marginally, arguably not talented, in my opinion. So if you look like that and you know that your days are numbered with your music career, you're gonna fuck anyone that looks at you while you can, because pretty soon you're gonna be sitting at the guy that used to be the announcer for the Tonight Show at Pickwick Pub and talking about the fucking glory days. But mainly, they just kind of he kept inviting her to his shows. They would hang out at parties. Then they both got COVID at the same time. And he's like, this was when it was real COVID and the world was shut down. So he's like, well, since we both have it, do you want to come hang out at my hotel room for 2 weeks, and that's how they became
So,
boyfriend and girlfriend. Like,
and she's
Lucy Tightbox got married the same way.
yeah, oh, yeah. So, she's getting, like, all of the mass invitations that go out for all of his shows, like you like, the bulk invitation, and she's just
Yeah.
like, "Wow, this guy really likes me. He's inviting me to all his stuff." No, he's inviting everyone.
Yeah. You're
He's
gonna
inviting
realize
everyone to everything.
you're gonna
He
realize
thinks
that,
he's in love with her.
yeah, Brooke is not the brightest, bulb in the, Christmas light string, or if that's not even a term. But let's see. So in clip 4, this is where you're gonna start to realize that Brooks' recounting of these incidents and accusations and facts is kind of, this is why cops don't trust eyewitness accounts, because they contradict each other all the time.
You're Mandela affecting in real time.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
gonna Mandela affect her own story here.
Like, did you cheat on her? Like, it was the most nonchalant thing in the world. He was like, well, yeah. I'm like, excuse me? I will spare you guys the details of how I found out that I was getting cheated on, okay? But boy, was I. Y'all have seen him. Like, was I wrong to think I didn't really have to worry about that? It's truly amazing what he was able to accomplish. But
Look at you
was,
now.
in fact, cheating on me with so many people. Like, literally, and like I said, we spent every single second together. So if I like mashed up the timelines, it would be like we were like laying in bed watching Bridgerton, and he'd be like sending a dick pic to somebody else.
What?
Yeah, I will say I would rather watch dick pics than Bridgerton.
Well, I'm not going to spare you the details of how I found out that he was. Well, you had multiple people DMing you that he was cheating on another girl with 15 girls that included you. And at the same time that she's saying that we were spending every second together, he was cheating on her constantly. How is it possible?
During COVID lockdown, what do we how?
Well, I mean,
I
that was
mean, this is like
2 weeks of a
a
3-month
loose definition
relationship.
of cheating, right? This is like, an emotional affair or, like, with nudes and stuff, like,
Yeah.
she's saying I was constantly with him, like, during COVID, so,
Yeah.
like,
I was
okay.
listening to I was listening to this with, my wife on the ride back from vacation, and even she was like, "Well, a dick pic isn't cheating on you." It's like, that's not, maybe the worst thing this guy did. He did a lot of shitty things, and he cheated on her a lot. Maybe not maybe they weren't a fit. Maybe he's like Ross on Friends, where he's like, we weren't technically together anymore. So
Mhm.
let's hear from Clinton Kane at this point, where he's gonna start his own TikTok stream where he's gonna show, like, literally show fucking receipts.
We had a brief 3-month relationship over 2 years ago.
Oh, he
To which I
looks
replied,
kinda like a
I want
vaguely Asian Josh Allen.
to think I dated you longer than I really don't know why, but for some reason you seem to be confused. We only dated for 3 months. Let me show you the.
Can we boost this at all? I can't.
Like she said on May 13th. This was June 2nd. A conversation with our mutual friends at the time. He asked, "Have I asked her officially yet?" I say, "I haven't." June 2nd. And on the 7th of June, as you can see, is when we actually got together. And just to confirm that even more, I texted my best friend on the 9th of June, 2 days after we got together, saying, "I have a girlfriend now. You should meet her." And she actually says on a podcast when we broke up.
We performed at a festival that like in Vegas. So I had been vlogging the whole time. And then we broke up at the very end.
A festival in Vegas. Who didn't? Was
Yeah.
it Hackamania?
So you mentioned that he looks like he supposedly has an Australian accent. He looks vaguely Asian. People are saying, I went to school with this guy. He's not Australian.
Mhm.
And he did come out later and kind of say, "Well, I'm sort of an army brat. I traveled around a lot. I lived here, here, and here, so my accent is weird because of that." And he also said that, he starts showing all the text things. What she said, they went out to a diner after one of their shows when they were first like falling in love with each other, and they talked for 4 hours, and he literally showed the receipt from the diner of the timestamp of when they were there. And it's like, okay, dude, this is not nearly as interesting as her version. Maybe she's lying, but at least she's telling an interesting story. This guy is a complete bore fest. But
Andy, can I ask a pertinent question at this time?
sure.
Are we going to do Stonehenge tonight? Where's the apology here?
Joe, I mean, you know what? My wife said the same thing. And I said, the show is not so much about um starting out with the apology, right? We did this with Tom Cruise, where we
Mhm.
wanted to talk about the shenanigans, and uh somebody said, "Hey, you should look at this. It's wild and it's sensational and it's ridiculous." And I dug in, and what I'll tell you is trust me.
Okay.
Okay?
You say I'll get to it. You could say that.
Yes, but what I told my wife is that we don't I used to start with the apology. I used to say, "I'm Googling apology tours. We're starting with the apology. It has to be an apology." Now I say, "I'm gonna talk about what I wanna talk about, and guess what? I have faith that anything that I decide to cover will entail an apology."
Well,
I will
I only
find
ask because she's like an apology machine at this point. So I'm just like wondering how this is just the more interesting story than 6 apologies in a movie.
Joe, it's there, okay?
Okay.
Trust me. Maybe it's not gonna be the apology that you want, but it's the apology that you deserve,
Okay.
okay? So
Have the apology you deserve.
I'm stuck in the fucking okay loop now too. And skip to clip 9 because we're gonna realize that this asshole has a fucking crutch that she leans on all the time, and I'd rather bring it up now than later.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Fucking great character.
There was a
Leo, whatever you need.
Leo gets. There's 108 OKs in Lethal Weapon too. I came to find out. I think Brooke broke that record in this half an hour stream.
Mm.
But anyway, back to Clinton Kane and his fucking receipts. Now he's going to get into bar graphs and infographics and charts and calendars about what day they went out and what time and this day. And it's like you're a fucking mental patient, dude. Clip 6.
Here's the first month from when we had our first date. I've labeled it B for every time we saw each other. Yellow is for when we saw each other either during the day
What?
or at night, and red is for when we spent
Is
the night
this
together.
Kavanaugh's calendar? Get out of here,
15th of May
dork.
to the 15th of June, we had spent a total of 15 days together out of 30 days. And on the second month, from the 15th of June to the 15th of July, we
No,
spent 16 days
this
together
guy's
out of 30.
clearly autistic.
Of July to the 15th of August, we spent a total of 17 days together out of 30. And on the fourth month, from the 15th of August to the 20th of September, when we
And
broke
then
up.
I went and I was counting the train cars.
From our first date to when we broke up, it was a total of 125 days. Out of 125 days, we spent 64 days together.
And the green part is where I cheated on her, and the purple part is where I jerked off because she wasn't around.
And the black part is where I didn't give a shit.
So this guy is clearly lost his fucking mind, but he's watching this woman just rant and rave on TikTok and just make shit up. But she wasn't the only one making shit up, because one of the biggest things that came out about this it was that he wasn't really Australian. He kind of has that accent, claims that he's Australian, lived in Australia for a short time, and not and he also claimed that he wrote several of his songs for his mother and father and brother all passed away in within the same year, is what he told Brooke. He wanted to get a sympathy bang out of Brooke Schofield and told her that his parents and his brother all died within a year of each other. Um, so just remember that. But in clip 7, Brooke is going to talk about when they actually broke up, why they actually broke up. He was kind of he She was accusing him of cheating on her, and he got so indignant about the accusations that he broke up with her.
We broke up because I accused him of cheating and he couldn't believe I would ever have the nerve. He was fully cheating on me. Like, but Can you believe that? Like, he broke up with me. Like, how embarrassing is that? I shouldn't even tell you that.
Oh, just because 10 girls said I'm cheating on you and you found news on my phone and you walked in and I was finishing on some girl's back. Oh, you're going to accuse me of cheating? Well, I'm breaking up with you. I won't stand for this. It's fucking baller.
You are the ones who are the when you have the drop.
Yeah, yeah.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
Who
Good reaction, Joe.
I just don't this is just not it's never been my world. This like idea of like I'm just glad I'm married and not dating anybody, especially in this day and age of just like where you could just have a conversation with somebody at the drop of a hat, and if you're mildly attractive, you probably have access to pussy and dick 24/7 or whatever is potentially happening out there. It just seems like such a fucking clusterfuck. Like go go to an ice cream social, meet a friend of a friend at all, go to a bookstore. I don't know what these people's lives just seem horrific to me.
Yeah. We were watching this other reality show that my wife watches where these people that were born super religious uh get married, realize that real life.
Plathville, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't gonna make everybody else have to know what I'm talking about,
I
but
barely know it, but
they
if
they
I know it, then it's fine.
they break up and because the girl wants more out of life than just living in the middle of nowhere, and she is now divorced and single and decides that she's gonna start dating in LA, and I was like, "That's maybe the worst decision you've ever made in your entire life.
Hope you
Start
like
your single
HPV.
Yeah, start your single dating career in Los Angeles where, life is cheap."
Mm.
But, the next clip,
Where
um
dignity is cheap.
yeah, clip 8, this is called "Triggered," Joe. This is when, um, Brooke realizes that oh, the other thing that this guy lied about was he had a fake ID or no, he told her that he was, like I don't know how old she is, she's gotta be, like, 26, she's probably whatever. She's probably washed up in LA, but he
She's
it
mad, bro.
it turns out that he was only 22 years old. I think she wanted somebody that was, like, 26 or 28, and he lied so that she would be interested in him, and then she saw his real ID and was like, "Oh, fuck, this guy's practically a child." And he acted like a child in clip 8, we're gonna learn.
We're eating our dinner that we made, okay? And
Okay.
I am looking at my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Keep in mind, I'm not at a family dinner. We are on a couples retreat where we have spent every single second together for the past 48 hours.
Okay.
His
Why would I
calendar
not
says
be watching
otherwise.
my phone? This is when he proceeded to tell me it's a major trigger of his for someone to not pay 100% attention to him at dinner time because that's what his mom used to do to him.
So this guy is triggered by his mom's antics, but he's writing all these songs for her because she's passed away. Turns out, Joe, she didn't pass away. She's still very much alive. So is his brother. His dad is dead, but he's running around telling all these groupies that his all these horse shit songs that he's writing are for his dead mom so he can get a blowjob, a pity blowjob, and it's working. Props to him, but he's a fucking scumbag liar.
Was it a pet peeve of his that he wanted 100% attention at dinner time like his mommy used to do? Or was she like cackling about some bullshit post Tana just put up?
Yeah,
Like, was she just on her phone in the middle of dinner and he's like, "Hey, could you like maybe put your phone down while we're eating?" And
yeah,
she's just like, "I guess somebody needs all the attention like your mommy used to
yeah.
give you." Is
That, that's
what
100%.
really why don't you tell me what really happened?
Well, I mean, they're all like it's hard to take sides in this, right? Because they're both you didn't even watch both of these things, but they're always claiming that they're diagnosed with these things. Like I have borderline personality disorder. Well, I have PTSD because my everybody I know died and I'm triggered by this and it's just all this fucking bullshit that you know they can't they can't accomplish anything because everyone's a victim.
I can only think of Dan Soder's bit about your self-diagnosed autism.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Turns out I've been masking my autism.
Yeah, right. But they just like are always making their problem somebody else's problem.
Right.
But just get a fucking helmet and deal with it because you can't just stop walking into Pizza Hut and saying you're gluten free. You're doing it wrong.
Don't go there
Right.
for a
So
litany of reasons.
yeah. But um so this is gonna be like the straw that broke the camel's back. In clip 10, uh, well, to Tana, this was like when she realized that she couldn't be with him anymore, and that because he got so upset that she said that Kid Rock was hot as a joke. And he's gonna be like he was crying because she thought that Kid Rock was hot, and he's gonna take to the internet to say, "Oh, I wasn't crying. I didn't
I'm
cry."
not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
Line number 3. I remember one night he literally started hysterically sobbing because I said, as a joke, that Kid Rock was hot. This is not true. So let's get the story straight. This fight happened on the 20th of August. It was my best friend's birthday, and I was taking him and his wife out to dinner. And you can see here that I invited Brooke to dinner, and it was going to be the 4 of us. So we're at dinner. First of all, she did not say Kid Rock was hot. She said I would fuck the shit out of Kid Rock. It was just uncomfortable, and I was embarrassed in front of my friends. I feel like as anyone would be. But now thinking back, maybe I wouldn't have cared. But in the moment, it was very uncomfortable. Here's proof of her saying I would fuck the shit.
Pause it real quick.
Her saying I would fuck the shit.
Oh my god! First of all, have you ever written a text that long?
Jesus Christ, that's when I pick up the phone.
Yeah, I know. He's circling it like, here's where she said I'd fuck the shit out of Kid Rock. But also, I like pay attention to where the thread was popping up, and you saw one. She's like, this guy, and then she has like a picture of Kid Rock in the thread. It's like, you think that I'd fuck this guy? And you keep seeing like memes of Kid Rock. Go ahead.
Yeah, you would. She would. I guarantee she would.
Maybe keep playing it.
Here's more proof of her saying I would fuck the shit out of Kid Rock and not Kid Rock was hot. Okay, so we're sitting there. I'm a bit uncomfortable, but I don't bring it up at dinner because we're with my friends and I just wanted to have fun. I'm showing you this text just so you can see
another picture of how hot Kid Rock is.
By the way, when all this happened, I did not know who Kid Rock was nor what he looked like.
No, that's because you're a fucking loser.
I didn't even know how hot he was.
I never even heard Ba with the Ba.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Twisted Brown Trucker is or Josie.
Right. So this guy who is somewhat Australian lied that he was older than being 22, lied that he wrote a song about his dead mom who wasn't dead.
Is not an American badass.
Yeah, he's not a badass. He was fucking groupies the whole time they were together for 60 out of 120 days. And you know, he sucks. So and he cheated on her and maybe she didn't deserve it. So here comes the apology you were looking for, Joe, and Clinton Kane's apology clip, Ed.
Okay, so this video is now going to be about me taking accountability for everything I did wrong in the relationship. First of all, I did cheat. It was a weak asshole move to do, and I am sorry for it. I've apologized to Brooke privately countless times, profusely, months after we broke up. And what tends to happen is as soon as I want out of a relationship, for reasons like it's unhealthy or it's like a sudden realization that it won't work. I never know how to come to terms with that emotion, and I go the pussy way and give them a reason
Literally.
to me instead of just manning up and doing it myself. I was a kid about it, and for most of my life, I
Is
didn't
he wearing
know.
pearls?
I didn't know or have
It's a puka shell necklace.
model of what a healthy relationship looked like.
Because he's a Pacific Islander of some kind. I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, great.
So
Good for you, dude.
I'm sorry, Joe. It didn't work out for those two, but I did have the one last clip. If we were while we changed topics into the next one, I couldn't listen to all that Brooke Schofield okays without being reminded of this.
Thank you, Mr. Mackey.
Yeah. I think Clinton Kane is going to be lying in the streets giving hand jobs for cash pretty soon. But maybe not before Brooke, because I think her career might be over at this point. Yes? No?
So maybe Clinton Kane was breaking up with Brooke Schofield because of her very controversial tweets that apparently what we do now is find people that we don't care for and go way in our time machine back to years ago when they were much younger and dumber and less famous and were probably trying to get attention or just say something sensational. Kind of what we do on this. What I do on this program every now and again is just say some out of pocket shit that I don't really mean, but I'm sure 10 years from now, it'll be thrown back in my face. So, Ed, if we could start with some of the tweets here. Oh, she said, I said so many accidentally racist things last night. I don't know how I even made it back to America. Accidentally what? Okay, here's the other thing. Let's talk about real quick the difference between being ignorant of something and being a racist. Okay, you can be like, oh well, I didn't know X about this race or something like that, and is let's just say, you like potatoes, you Mick fuck. Oh, I didn't realize that Irish people liked potatoes or that there was an Irish family that was closely that they funnel whiskey through a potato. Okay, that was accidentally racist. I didn't know that. It would be like, oh, I hate the Irish and I hate their stupid red hair and their fucking accents and fuck them. That's racist. Being like, I didn't know that potatoes were such an Irish thing, that's just like ignorance. Okay. So being like, I said accidentally racist things, what does that mean? Okay. So anyway, fuck that. That's nothing. All right. But she's being taken to task for it. Next one, Ed, let's see that.
Going to Australia and saying Aborigine all over the place. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. I didn't know that.
What are the indigenous peoples?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Ed. You can't trade lap dances for cheeseburgers because after a little while, no one will want a lap dance from a fat person. I mean, that just sounds like common knowledge, really. And
what's wrong with that? I don't. That's
yeah.
You don't get canceled for that joke.
Clearly a joke, right? You couldn't tip or pay for a lap dance with a cheeseburger. I don't know what she's, and it's probably sounds like it's inside joke maybe or based on some experience. Ed says you need cocaine for the strippers. Maybe cheeseburgers is code for cocaine. That might be true, but I guess they considered that fat shaming. Like nobody wants a lap dance from a fat person. Sounds accurate.
Well, I don't know if you're into
or define fat.
Yeah, if you're into it, you're into it. That's not. There's nothing wrong.
Andy, is Lizzo attractive?
Yeah,
because you look like Lizzo. All right. The next controversial tweet here. Oh, I see. I'm gonna go later because I get all embarrassed when I work out like a fat girl. Okay. I mean, that might be a little hard in the paint, but I think working out is hard for especially if you're self-conscious about your body.
What year these tweets
Oh,
are
it
they
says at the
talking
bottom, I like 20. Pull that one back up. They're all right around the same
Yeah,
time.
I just forgot to look at the timestamp.
You could
This
even just throw up
was
the next one.
pre-Lizzo. Oh yeah, 2000.
2012.
You could still fat shame people back in 2012, everyone. This is probably why fat shaming became a thing. I think Brooke Schofield started it.
But that's over 10, that's 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
At this point.
Just saying it was
How
fine then.
old how old was she? She's 14 or something. If you're saying she's 26, you
Yeah,
know?
everyone's fatter than her at this point.
Yeah. And you're a little fucking snot-nosed piece of shit teenager. You're gonna say all types of wild shit. So, do we have one more before Trayvon, or is this the last one? I don't know. Okay, what have the most ratchet hair ever? Oh, she's going the Don Imus route here. Oh my god, I swear I had nappier hair this morning than most African Americans on this side of our country. Hashtag Afro. Well, she said African Americans. I mean, I think I brought it up on our last. So we don't like to speak or touch black women's hair. So
We
we
know
know the
that.
rules. Now we know the rules. Back then you didn't know the rules. You couldn't even speak on a black woman's hair. Okay.
Yes.
So what
I
it might feel like.
I'll put this out there. I have an open invitation. I have an open request to I mean, you have to give me permission, but just know I always would like to request to touch it, but I can't ask or you know, you have to say, "Would you like to touch it?" And just know that I would like to touch it.
Yeah. And when you notice Andy's staring at you, just walk up to him and go like, you can touch it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I wanna pet dogs and I wanna touch black people's hair. I'm gonna
Okay.
get canceled 10 years from now for saying that.
Right. So this is the one that's oh wait, sorry, to rape you or not to rape you. We might have to censor this out or everyday struggle. I don't
Great.
know. Grape, I guess
The
that was what
grape
they
is
say. I don't it obviously that's,
is it
controversial.
okay.
Rape jokes.
Is she raping me? Because again, same as the black person's hair. It's okay if you think that you need to ask permission to rape me, Brooke Schofield, it's okay.
Yeah. So a younger girl way back when saying,
Yeah.
controversial shit,
I
sexual
watched I watched
assault, fat
worse
shaming.
I watched worse things in the antisocial 8chan documentary on Netflix last night.
So all of that is kind of like that's not the real problem here. This
I'm sure
this
it's
next
gonna get
one is
worse.
this is the most controversial one out of all the tweets that some pathetic loser went back and combed through her entire Twitter to find. So back in 2013, guarantee if Zimmerman shot a white guy, this went too many spaces between guy and this. She fucked up there. I'll take her to task for that.
Okay, John.
Guarantee if Zimmerman shot a white guy, this wouldn't even be a story. Newsflash, this wasn't a crime of racism. It was self-defense. Leave that up for a second here, Ed. Um, do I
2013.
You know
Trayvon,
what? I think that's the tweet. I believe I address a lot of this coming up in our clips. So this is really the tweet that essentially got Brooke kicked off of ironically titled The Canceled Podcast with
yeah,
Tana Mojo. Okay. So you can take that down, Ed. So they had done a show together. I don't think it was that long, couple of years, right? Maybe longer. I don't know.
at least 1 year.
Um, So what my mild confusion, why I asked you where's the apology on your topic, Andy, is because Brooke Schofield, my understanding is that she's apologized for this after being kicked off the show at minimum 6 times. There's been like 6 apologies over this, over whatever span of time.
So you brought them
So
all? Because this is a show about apologies?
say what?
So you brought them all?
No, that's what I thought you were doing. So I covered Tana's response to this whole controversy. So
Okay.
Brooke's off apologizing somewhere. Tana goes on her show and responds to the whole controversy. So this is the intro to the show in my clip 1.
Obviously, as you guys can see, I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and they're fucked up and they're horrific. And I'm saying that as a white person, right? Like, I cannot even imagine being a black non-fan or fan and reading those tweets. And I've made it very clear to Brooke as well that I condemn her for these tweets.
I condemn this dye job, intentionally sloppy hairstyle. What's going on top of her fucking head?
I cast judgment on you, Brooke Schofield.
God, this is like so performative to me. Like, let me be abundantly clear. She heard the word abundantly the other day. But
I have the moral high ground.
for once, I'm the one. In my clip 2, I called this one perspective and context.
I have no right to forgive her as a white person for the things that she said. Before I get into a little more of my thoughts on this, I'm also wrong in this situation, and I want to be open and honest with you guys about that. When Brooke made her first apology video, I commented on it and I said, "We grew up bad. I love you." And immediately regretted it so hard.
Yeah. We grew up bad. We act bad. We make bad podcasts. We have sloppy tits and bad hair. My breath stinks worse than my vag. She's really being hard on herself here. So, yeah, I think she was trying to be supportive in some way with that, I guess. But I just don't understand any of this. I don't know any like brand deals that Tana may have going or whatever, but she's running scared right now.
Yeah. I did find the Brooke Schofield apology. It's like 3 minutes. It's like almost 4 minutes long, though. Do you want to watch it?
Sure. Hey, we've never done this before, everybody. We're gonna have like an unvetted. Are you gonna have some type of YouTube pre-roll here?
Yeah, on the fly. I'm producing the show on the fly. Look at me, like a big boy. All right. Add that to the stage, Ed. Okay, let's see what this shithead has to say now.
Right, you guys, I have had a lot to say about accountability lately and how important it is and how far it can go. And I feel like I'm
Why is
not
her
taking
hair
my
always
own
like
advice.
pasted to her
Like, you
fucking
guys
head?
see the tweets that are circulating
Look
around,
bald.
unfortunately, are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting. Of course, I do
Fine.
appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff, but like it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. Like it
She
literally
doesn't
does
want to
not
be
matter.
seen. That's why she's wearing her
They are
winter
horrible. I
camo.
want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation. Try not to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want
Not
to
to be
blame
emotional
anybody
about
else
my
at
career
all,
being
and so
over.
I'm trying like to be really careful about that. I just want to explain like and give some context into like my mindset at the time, because I have seen like some comments today that are like, well, no shit, she's racist, like white nepo baby, like a little like spoiled brat, like, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was like 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just like me and my grandpa. And he is a very
It's my grandmother's fault that I was running wild on Twitter, saying all
Right.
kinds of racist. My grandmother didn't even know what Twitter was. She couldn't
My
stop me
demented
from
grandma.
yeah, from taking George Zimmerman's side in a child shooting.
Very right wing conservative man. Okay. It was like my household was literally just Fox News all the time. Rush Limbaugh, like if you guys know who that is, like
The
playing
N
literally
So
word.
now it's your grandfather's fault for liking Fox News? Okay.
all day long through the house. And that was just like the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation.
I thought she wasn't
And
around.
I just should have known better. I know her and I should have known that she's
Oh, your drug addict mom? Okay, let's throw her under the
I
bus.
don't wanna talk to you in real life, but I'll talk to you on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, who's worse than Hitler now, Brooke?
not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all. Again, sometimes you like have these people that you like put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. Like, I know some of the tweets I was like 18 and people are like, yeah, like she was old enough to know better. And like, honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even
I
after
had to like
college that I
fuck
really
20
started to
black
like
guys
shift
before I thought
my
they
way
were
of
all right.
thinking, and there are people in my life who I might have looked up to forever who I do not
Yeah.
agree with.
I hated black people until I had my first BBC.
I think it's amazing now that people are like learning earlier on about politics and like forming their own opinions outside of like what their parents think or what they're hearing or whatever it is. But that just wasn't the case for me. Whatever I heard, I passed on. I'm sorry, very, very sorry to anybody who is hurt by the tweets because obviously they're very hurtful.
Fucking, she's on the Snowpiercer train so that she can't be found.
That's
But
I thought like she's in like a sleeping car of an Amtrak or
yeah,
something.
Like a lot of it is just like
she's
what like
eating
why would I
babies.
even say that? And I apologize for not having said something sooner. I just felt like I was getting these messages from people who like were hurt by them. And I felt like by bringing more attention to it, I was just going to be hurting more people. And that was not the right mindset. I should have said something sooner. And I would never let something go this far again. Like, I love you all so much.
Don't
Obviously, I know that there are some people who are just like not
don't
gonna
feed
care
the
for me anymore,
trolls.
and, like,
Don't
I
feed the
understand that.
Karens.
I need you to know that, like, is not how I think, that is not what I believe, and I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to, like,
So
learn and grow and
mature.
formulate my own opinions, and they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old.
Hey,
Boink.
terrific. Well,
All right.
I agree
Now
with
that
that.
we've
I don't want to. I don't like people getting canceled for shit from 10 years ago. People change their minds. I will say that.
they change their minds. Also,
Grow up.
what you like tweet into the void when you think that nobody really gives a shit is not necessarily indicative of who you are and what you actually believe. You know, like once again, I'm definitely the type of person to say something fucking wild, just to say something wild.
Yeah.
Um, so in my clip 3 here, let's go hard in the paint with buzzwords like narrative.
It's not my place as a white person to forgive her or add to the problem and further the narrative of white people forgiving other white people. And it's not
When was
enough
that a
to just write these
narrative?
things off as we grew up bad. And I think that
Why
I
don't you
learned
just
that
stop it?
now,
It's none of
and
my business.
that shows me that I still have things to learn and unlearn. And I just first wanted to apologize to anyone I hurt for commenting that on her video.
Yeah, Andy, unlearning is my new favorite term for blaming everyone else for you being an asshole. My grandmother had a different term for Brazil nuts, so I have to unlearn that.
Yeah. Or I just learned that my grandmother is a racist. I'm learning more. I'm not unlearning things. You don't want
I
to
learned she's a
unlearn.
racist, and I have to unlearn all those slang terms.
Yeah.
Um,
You can
okay.
alter. Why don't you alter your behavior and alter your opinions? You don't learn less.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You don't want to. You don't want to unlearn. You don't want to know less. Just learn that what you were doing was bad
Yeah,
or
be better.
unacceptable. In clip 4, we've covered Tana before, and here she reminds you of what a classic fuck up she is.
I might be the last person you guys or anyone wants to hear have a take on Brooke's tweets.
That's true.
I'm not a perfect person, and my hands are not clean in any of this. You guys have
But I've
known
kicked her off
forever
the
about
show
my mentions
because
that I
fuck
tweeted
her.
in 2013 and 14 and the vines that I were in and the things that I've said, and I've apologized for them a million times, and
Vines.
I'm more than happy to apologize until the day I die.
Yeah, I bet. It's simple. Apologize, and then just keep apologizing forever. And if anyone calls you out, just keep on apologizing. It's working for her, so who am I to criticize? In this next clip, enter the learning and growing phase of this video, Andy.
They were hurtful and disgusting and racist, and I know that. While I do think that I've grown so much as a person from who I was in those tweets at that time, I know that there's always more growing for me to do. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. I felt like if we just started the episode, Paige and I saying hello and welcome back to the Canceled Podcast, that's just exercising my white privilege. And it's not something that I want to do or be any part of, quite frankly.
We're all growing and learning every single day.
Thank you, Jake.
I already know today's about to be so bad on the internet.
I'm sorry, freaking
So
idiot.
what?
I'm just sorry for being a freaking idiot.
Isn't that her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What people don't talk about is that with all this growing, sometimes you're just growing into a bigger asshole.
Yeah.
All right. In the next clip here, here's more about digging up someone's past and throwing it in their face.
I'm hoping Brooke is taking the time right now to reflect and grow and learn in a lot of the ways that I did. And listen, I have always known from my first apology video and forever for the rest of my life that there will be people who will never forgive me for many things I have said and done online, for many of my ignorant, horrible takes. And I told Brooke this the other day. I said, you have to make peace with the fact that there will be people that never forgive you, and this may recirculate for the rest of your life, and you have to be ready to be open and honest and talk about it.
I just had an idea for a new podcast. There's a sports show called First Take. We should start a show called Worst Take.
Yeah.
Any topic, just have the worst take on any subject.
And all we do is watch Tana Mojo's show.
Yeah, yeah.
What I'm talking about.
She could be a guest. So how come James Gunn can like emerge from old controversial tweets to be the head of DC movies, but these two slobs are left to apologize until the day they die? It doesn't seem right. Oh wait, it's because of his talent. I forgot.
When you're a talentless, people don't care if you're left out in the cold.
Yeah. All right. In this next clip, Tana explains the internet.
In all of that time that we worked together, touring, everything, I never once saw or heard her exhibit any behaviors that, or words or anything that align with those tweets. And if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here saying any of this right now. We would have never made it this far. I would have cut her off fucking immediately.
Is that right? You mean she says wild shit on the internet, but then acts like a normal person in real life? What a novel concept. Shouting into the void is very different than talking to yourself out loud at a diner. It's like people don't do that. What you do on the internet is drastically different than how you conduct yourself in the real world. Like maybe exercise a little bit of freaking common sense when addressing this topic. But
right, because I mean, I'm looking at her wiki right now, and they weren't neither of these two were anyone until like post COVID, like 2019. They had like some horse shit stuff that nobody ever heard of, and then they emerged from COVID on this podcast, and maybe she was a thought on Instagram, but
Mhm.
in 2013, you're just posting shit thinking that no one, like, 0 people are paying attention to you. You're trying to get any kind of reaction, and if you say something dumb or crazy and it gets if it gets over 100 likes, you're like, "Oh, holy shit, somebody is actually paying attention to me." But mostly you're like, "Hey, I went to Starbucks
She was
and,
14. She was
pumpkin spice."
14 when this
Yeah.
shit was happening.
"Hey, pumpkin spice latte's back, everybody. Fucking who gives a shit?" I mean, that was the majority of her online presence at this time. So her saying shit about Zimmerman when she didn't even know, she probably had no idea what actually happened at that age, right?
Probably.
I'm not like, really defending her. I'm just saying, like, she's a nobody with no audience and has no idea what she's talking about.
It's not an original take. Let's go to my did you know that, if you're white, you aren't allowed to have any thoughts or feelings anymore, Andy? I think Tana brought
Yeah,
this up already. Clip 8.
I've been told.
And that's not to excuse anything that she says. And it's not to say that I don't think she has so much more growing and learning to do as a person at all. Obviously, again, I'm a white person and
We're
I
all
can
growing
never
and learning
imagine
every single day.
the Trayvon Martin tweet in particular. I have never and I will never align with those thoughts and values. I remember when it happened and it was the murder of an innocent 17-year-old black boy.
Values.
It's been explained to me now. When that happened, Tana Mojo had no idea. She was blind. She had Jake Paul's nuts covering her eyes when that was happening. She did not know that even happened when it happened. She didn't know who George Zimmerman was. I bet if you brought this up to her 3 weeks ago and said, "Hey, remember that George Zimmerman thing?" She'd be like, "What?" She wouldn't even fucking know.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, Brooke's tweet is idiotic, but it's just an opinion.
Yeah.
If he was white, it wouldn't be a story. What? Like every MAGA Karen would have been writing a strongly worded letter to the local police chief in regards to it. Like if a person of color killed a white person, like it would nobody would shut up about it. That's just dumb. It's inaccurate. I find that to be a stupid thing. Like when black people get killed, nobody talks about it. That's the traditional
Right.
narrative.
That's why you have to say
Um,
Black Lives Matter, because
you're right,
there's a blanket understanding that they don't in
right.
a lot of parts of the
Well,
country.
it's
But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that like what Brooke Schofield tweeted was okay. Like I don't think that. I just hate more holier than thou Tana Mojo. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, I'm like way better than you
yeah, yeah,
based on this. Well, fuck
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Tana.
Well,
You
but so then the other thing is like that she says in her tweet is like this wasn't racism, it was self defense, right? It was self defense. Yeah, a lot of people took that position. I wouldn't call it racist. Having an opinion about the situation is not necessarily racist. Racially profiling someone, minding their own business, following them, confronting them, and killing them, that may be racist. But
yeah.
saying this was self defense, not racism, like there's plenty of people that would have that take. It's like barely controversial. You know what I mean? Like he was let off, wasn't he? Like didn't they say in the end he got away with it?
But what I can tell you is, like, the whole thing, as I remember it, um, was that he was some like vigilante, like neighborhood watch guy,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he was
and
harassing
he was like following him
right.
and instigated the entire situation, and
Yeah.
then said,
Martin
"Oh, he
did a
tried to
story.
reach after my gun," type of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yes, he was acquitted.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know like what they came out with because when she keeps bringing up the narrative and the narrative, and they call this like this young black boy was murdered. Well, no, I mean he was 17. He looked like a man. He looked like a full grown man. Like the other theory. Now I don't know anything, but I remember the twists that the media was giving you. It was just like on one side they're saying this poor young black child was murdered. On the other hand, he was a vicious predator who overpowered a man with a gun and almost beat him senseless to the point where the guy had to defend himself with lethal force. Where is it? I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a fucking expert on it, but these ideas were everywhere at the time. So to have a young girl be like, that was self-defense. Many people thought that. For you to dig this out of fucking history and throw it in front of her and be like, you're fucking racist, was like, okay. Okay, clip 9 here. This is the most nonsensical thing I've heard in a minute.
That was committed by someone that he should have been able to trust with his life. I can imagine being his mother or his brother or his friends or his family and seeing this shit circulate again in the media at the hands of a white person.
At the hands of what? Circulate in the media again at the hands of a white person.
You know what would help? If you'd shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. What does that even mean? It's not like Brooke went through her old Twitter post and said, Throwback Thursday, y'all. Remember when that George Zimmerman did the world a favor? Yeah. That's not what she fucking said.
Yeah. Who brought it up 12 years later? Was it a white person?
Right. Yeah, at the hands of a white person. It wasn't Brooke. It wasn't brought back up to Trayvon's family because of her.
It was probably Clinton Kane, who is all races.
Yeah. Okay, here Tana talks about the future and her relationship with the audience.
I just want to let you guys know that I'm seeing everything everyone's saying, and I just don't want to be a further part of that problem. I don't want to exercise my white privilege ever. I'm aware of it, but I don't want to exercise it, and that's why I'm speaking on this today. I think that I've seen a lot of feedback just in general, and I know where I want the future of this podcast to go. And I will always read your guys' comments. I will always be a chronically online fuck. And I see every TikTok and everything everyone is saying. And I don't want to be any further part of any problem.
A chronically online fuck. Tana does make me laugh every once in a while. Yet, for better or worse, she does fascinate the internet. How do you exercise? I don't want to ever exercise my online privilege or my white privilege, unless I can't get a table at Nobu. Then I'm going to complain to the manager. How do you even know if you're? I think the whole point of like white privilege is that you don't even know that you have it. You don't even know that you're doing it. You couldn't perceive that and say, "Oh, you're acting like you're going to play the race card." Oh, I'm going to play my white privilege. Reverse.
Now, Joe, this past weekend I was in LA and I went to the club and I was waiting in line behind like 20 mixed race people, and I saw Tana Mojo walk up to the podium and the security guy had his clipboard and she said, "Hi, I'm Tana Mojo. Am I on the list?" And he said, "Oh, yes, you are. Right this way, Miss Mojo." And she said, No. I'll wait for these 20 people to go in and then I'll jump in front of the white guy who is more worthless than me." So she's not exercising her white privilege. I can speak on that. She definitely has it, but doesn't use it. Whatever the fuck that means. Whatever she's talking about. Not
you talking about. What is the club? No, you're not going to tell me.
Oh, what club was it? It was
I don't even know what that word is.
It's a club, Joe. Of dance, the dance
hall. Oh, you're saying scissor in the club.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I got you. Okay.
A very hip Joe six pack over here.
Okay. In clip 11, I could discuss this clip for an entire hour on the show.
And I want you guys to know that I think the tweets are disgusting, and I hope she is taking the time to grow and learn what she needs to and intake the information she needs to and
every single day.
Color and understand the pain that they felt while reading those tweets. My hands aren't clean in all of this, and I'm not trying to
so repetitive.
Come to this with a holier than thou perspective.
Oh, you're not?
I know back in the
All
day
you're
that I had
doing.
to take the time to grow and learn, and that's exactly what I want for Brooke in this
We're all
situation.
growing
But
and
at the
learning
same
every
time,
single
I
day.
am very shocked and hurt by a lot of those tweets.
So,
I'm just gonna keep playing that.
We're all growing and learning every single day.
what that?
Please tell me that one of these clips is just a montage of her saying grow, 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 grow.
No, I
Because it
didn't.
has been 5 clips of the 11 so far.
That's
Well,
why I keep playing
I
that.
just so hope she grows. Oh,
She
she's gotta grow.
she learned from the best.
We're all growing and learning every single day.
um One fucking tweet was controversial of all the ones that we looked at, whatever, fat shaming, rape jokes, whatever, that's the internet. But um yeah, and even this one, like I said, like I don't think it's that out of pocket. But speak to people of color, is what Tana said. I hope she speaks to people with color so they can tell you what an asshole they think you are. Like, what are we trying to accomplish? Now, I'm not coming with a holier than thou perspective. It sure sounds like you are. Like, you started this by condemning her. Literally, I condemn her for this. Way to be a good friend. Why not just discuss this on your show?
Yeah.
Perhaps,
Yeah.
perhaps a conversation about the topic where she could maybe have a forum to make herself more clearly understood.
Have your
Maybe
one
that would
black
have been it.
friend have your one black friend on to answer to them about it. And guess what? Let it blow the fuck over. Everybody doesn't realize that next week everybody's gonna forget about this.
Right. Somebody else will fuck up on the internet tomorrow. It'll be fine. Also shocked and hurt. Let's stop being so fragile. As if you haven't said these things over and over again. It's not so much that you're shocked and hurt by this. It's that this is like Anthony Weiner and Hillary Clinton, where it's just like, now you must go clear my name, and make sure that my lily white gloves do not touch the shit that you've brought into the house. Like, you must go now, Brooke, and make sure that the name Tana Mojo remains lily white and pristine in its reputation. Okay.
Like it was so great before.
Yeah, exactly. So in clip 12 here comes the white savior, everyone.
And I can't imagine the pain that so many Black people felt reading that tweet or dealing with racism. And I never will be able to. All I can do is educate
Joe Budden
myself.
did not read
I
it.
saw a TikTok the other day on my For You page that said for every white person that has to unlearn racism, there is a Black kid somewhere that has to unlearn the hate that was instilled in them. And that shit just really sits with me. And that's why I've always said I know that there will be people that won't forgive me for the things that I've said.
Yeah. Andy, I'm going to educate myself on race relations. Let's see what my TikTok For You feed can offer. Let's see. Quotes from Martin Luther King, Maya Angelou, some AI generated propaganda from a Russian hacker farm. Ah, yes. Racism solved. Thank you, TikTok For You page.
Yes.
What the fuck are you talking about?
All the Black people that scour Twitter for a 12-year-old tweet from a 14-year-old white girl that had to read that. So we in 2024, the Black audience of a Brooke Schofield.
And
Nobody's
Andy,
reaching
didn't you see online when Redman came running in and he showed Method Man the tweets from fucking Brooke Schofield from 2013? No one gives a fuck. Nobody cares about this. Nobody cared. Clip 13, Unafraid.
I've always wanted to show and showcase and advocate for my own growth, and that is what I want for her. But with all of that being said, I will be always always reading your guys' tweets and comments, and I'm wanting to open this conversation and unafraid of opening this conversation. And will always take further criticism and help to grow. And that's exactly what I've been doing these past few days, is doing my best to continue to learn and educate myself and unlearn any behaviors that I don't resonate with and don't want to be.
I want to be unafraid of having this conversation. And with that in mind, I've asked Brooke to not be on this show anymore because I'm afraid of how that will look. And what better way to start a conversation than to not have that person in question anywhere near me? Yeah, you're killing it, Tana. Way to say the thing you should be doing and then just fucking not do that at all.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I can't have Brooke Schofield on this podcast because I need to talk about Blue Apron. Now, the thing about Blue Apron is that the carrots and the peas are in two different things. They keep the colors things separate from each other, and I
Andy.
can't have that either. So I am renouncing my Blue Apron sponsorship as well.
Andy, you know what I like about Blue Apron is that if Trayvon Martin's family had Blue Apron, he wouldn't have had to walk to the convenience store to get something to eat. He would have had the food delivered right to his home, and he'd still be alive. Thank you, Blue Apron. Okay, in clip 14, this is the last one of this. Let's do some good in the world here.
I'm donating the proceeds of this episode of the Canceled Podcast and my entire TikTok creator fund to the Trayvon Martin Foundation. And I'm just really sorry to anyone that is hurt from this. And again, I don't want to speak on Brooke's behalf, but I sat on this couch with her, and for that, I feel that I have to say that.
What a hero.
Here's how unsuccessful I am. What is a TikTok creator fund and how much could that possibly be? There's no amount associated with that statement. It could be, what do you think, $3,000? Like, I truly don't know.
I'm sure it would make you sick how much
I probably
it actually is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a TikTok creator fund is. It doesn't, that could be anything to me. All right. So that's her whole apology. So now Brooke's off the show. So Tana's not going to just fucking talk to herself. So let's bring in what I can only glean from the very little I watched is that Paige is her assistant. So here's Tana talking to her assistant who's replacing Brooke on the show. Interim, I don't know.
What was that one song where we were in Vegas and we kept singing it?
Oh my God.
And we like memed it. What's the song?
It's like not.
What's the song that the DJs play in Vegas and it's like a low toned male voice?
Yes.
All I need
is your love tonight. Basically, me and Tana have this running bit.
No, you don't. You don't have a bit. You're memeing a song, whatever the fuck that means. That is not a bit, okay? What do I know? You know, good job, ladies. Keep up the boring work.
Hey, seems like maybe it was a missed opportunity to have a person of color come guest on the show, but I don't know. You're doing the work, Tana. It's like fucking
whatever's convenient.
I mean, you could have used your white privilege to start a conversation, but instead you're gonna fucking horribly sing a song that nobody fucking knows with your assistant that you pay to hang out with. She paid to be your friend instead of starting a conversation with a person of color, like you were just insisting on. What a fucking asshole!
What is it? Like a
vapid asshole.
What I can't remember what the bit's from. It's like opportunity doesn't knock and then ring the doorbell and then look in your window to see if you're home and then wait around to see if maybe you'll come to the door. It's like you had a fucking phenomenal opportunity to do something really meaningful with this situation and you were like, so what I did find out all through that and listening to that is that because they're talking about Vegas and shit, that she plays like celebrity poker tours turned into like a bunch of social media people, and so Tana was playing against Ethan Klein from H3, and who else? Steiny from the Nelk Boys. Those were like the biggest people at the table as far as I could tell, and some other people. But Tana was like favored to win. So I guess I saw her do like she was like the second out or whatever, but I did see some good laydowns out of her. Like apparently she's a bit of a poker player now, so I found that a bit interesting. But by the way, Jesus Christ, the celebrity poker tour with the social media people is a cacophony of idiocy when you're trying to, like, if you've ever like enjoyed watching any type of poker, it's a fairly quiet affair where like almost golf where like the announcers are whispering so you can kind of hear what's going on at the table. These people are all like screaming at each other, and they're just the announcers are talking over them.
Well,
It was fucking insane.
You act like we've never played at a poker game. That's exactly like what you're describing.
Well,
That's
no,
basically what
I know
MTV
that's how
with
I play.
poker.
I know that's how I play poker, but nobody's filming it and putting it on the internet.
You should fully be in that game. That's your style of play.
So I did. We'll save it for another time. But what's his Steve will do it. I think he's associated with Nelk, right? He like talks shit about H3, and there just happened to be an apology on the poker tournament. So I pulled the clips for that, but we'll put it on like a bonus episode or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be the mini for next week or something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's all you got?
That is it.
Okay, well, let's decide here. We are the deciders. Do we accept Clinton Kane's apology to Brooke Schofield for cheating on her 15 times and uh, saying that she's a bad person for being on her phone? Well, he eats chicken tendies. Do you accept that apology?
No, fuck that guy. He sucks.
Yeah.
Please accept my apology. Please accept my apology, baby.
At least he didn't hit you like Chris Brown. Could have been worse, Brooke. All right. So then we have Brooke Schofield's apology to, I guess, Trayvon Martin. She's apologizing to everybody that
her grandfather and mom. I don't know.
Everybody that realized that she was a shithead on the internet. Like,
sorry for being 14.
Yeah. Sorry that a 14-year-old was a dildo on the internet.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to a 14-year-old?
They all suck. It can't be. I mean, if you tweeted something before you were 18, should you be canceled over it? I guess in 2024 you can. So I guess this is Brooke Schofield.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she is.
I think she is genuinely sorry. I don't think she meant any harm. I think she's very upset that she's not going to be getting her podcasting money, buddy. But I don't know. I thought this wasn't going to be about racism shit. I thought this was going to be about two kids that failed to find love, but it turned out to be all about racism again.
Little did you know, Andy.
Oh God. Well, I don't know.
Back to the old house or the Real Housewives, so we can get some petty shit back on here.
And this just did, everybody. This is only going to be about Real Housewives now. Because I'm thinking of all these apologies.
Andy and I can't take all the politics, sexual assault, and racism anymore. We're just going to get real petty with it.
And I want to encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram and like and subscribe there. I've gone back to my old style of just like covering things in the news, right? So that's been a little bit more fun. But then I also want to encourage anybody to go and follow us on Patreon for free, because I'm putting up free content there for just about anybody. But I also, here we go. I also want to thank all of the paid tier members that make this show possible, like Dr. Steve and Brenda and Trevor and Jackie Marlowe, SJ, Ray Guitard, Harry Zoe, Kate, Tony, Bad at Karate, Waylon, Notorious Cretin, Brian, Orange Julius, Sean Savage, Principled Uncertainty, Bob K, Hunter Duke, Nicola, Balasim, Kyle, Aaron, Tigran, Fun Kilo, Leo, Hall and Oates, The Negative Creep, and Simon. These are my heroes. I want people to also become a hero of mine and support this show for just $5, Joe. Is that a lot of money? Patrick
It
Michael
is.
thinks that it's not that much. Patrick Michael thinks it's only 2.5 times more than what he wants for his shitty show. So if you want a good show that doesn't involve Patrick Michael,
we 100% $3 more worth of effort into this show than Patrick Michael does in his.
I don't know. What do you think? I want to put some more video shit up on YouTube. I think maybe our Patreon supporters, a lot of them, they're just nice people that are just helping us keep the lights on over here. So I thought maybe we'd take some of the older archive shows and start featuring the video. I think it's been long enough where maybe we can go back and take the first video one that we ever did and feature it on YouTube and see how it performs.
That, or I'm also thinking maybe we go back and redo some of our older topics with and add video in. And you can still find like our original audio take on it, but like say Big Fudge, George Santos there, just that update on him. That's a good story that we already did. But maybe we could redo it again with video and throw it up. I don't know.
I'm just trying to throw it. I'm not trying to give myself more work to do. But I will say that we have some more guests lined up. I know we have a special guest lined up for next week that I'm excited about. And I was talking to, this is maybe not going to make people run to the episode, but Christian Blatt's going to be on in the near future. I'm like lining up some more guests on the show.
Like Christian.
I love Christian, but he takes a lot of shit on his show too.
Oh, well, I liked you when you were on that show with Husey. I really enjoyed. I don't get to make the rounds around. That's why Andy controls the social media, because I don't have a lot of free time to explore the internet and check out all these shows and everything. So if I'm checking in, and so I really enjoyed listening to you and Christian and Husey on that episode. It was good.
Christian's great, and he's been a supporter of this show since day one. A lot of people like Tony from Hack the Movies and Christian and a few others have wished us well. And Christian was one of the first guys that had me on WATB as like a guest when we were just getting started. So I thought I'd return the favor. So and it's long overdue. So those things are coming. That's going to be in like October though. But I'm going to start having more guests on. So I hope people look forward to that. And I hope you can like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. Hey, tell one person about this show. If you tell one person that you think they might enjoy it, send them the link and maybe drive up some downloads.
Share it with a person of color.
Yeah. Tuki will tell you. Share this show with your favorite person of color. And we would love you more than a friend. So for Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
stay sorry.